Welcome back, everybody, to the Mystical Rebel channel. And we're back with some more reactions. But in this video, instead of reacting to just one video, we're going to be doing what we did a while ago, which is react to numerous videos in the form of shorts. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. We're on YouTube right now. Maybe we'll switch over to TikTok afterwards, depending on how long this is. You guys know I can be a bit um, long-winded in some of my responses, but they're always gems. They're always gems. But we're going to go ahead and react to some shorts here in regards to the New Age, the occult conspiracy, the paranormal. We're going to run the gamut here today. So buckle up, Buttercup, as one of my YouTubers that I used to watch used to say. Buckle up, Buttercup. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to dive right in. So let's start with this one right here, the 5-point pentagram ritual of legal right. Now, I've not seen any of these videos, the ones that we're going to go, the shorts that we're going to go ahead and look at. There's some here, there's some down here. We're going to go ahead and look at some of these. I've not watched any of these as of yet. I just typed in occult demons and see what popped up. And so we've got 5-point pentagram ritual of legal right. So let's take a look at what this is saying.
Is a term that I learned in the demonic realm called legal right. The entire demonic kingdom is obsessed with this term. You'll find men and women on earth who practice volleyball, basketball, football, and they get good at that. Somebody who's well known in the demonic kingdom is someone who's versed in a term called legal right. So the better that they understand the word of God and the heart of God to cause someone to sin against it is what's legal right.
So in all of the occult books that I have here, in all the occult books I have over there, and all of the occult books that you guys have seen here on my Google Drive, and the various folders that I have for the various occult and esoteric and mystical systems, none of these mention legal rights. Legal rights. I don't like. Does he mean like a contract, like spiritual contracts, pacts? Is that what he means? You make a pact with the spirit, but you can make a pact with an angel. You can make a pact with an elemental, which of course the Christians would call demons, but they're not. Before your classifications existed, these spirits were worshipped, venerated, worked with, whatever you want to call it, or maybe even all of the above before the Christian categories came along. Before the Christian classifications of them as everything that's not an angel is a demon. So I don't know what this guy's talking about. What's this legal right? I've never heard this in the occult. He's like, oh, I learned this in the demonic realm. No, like that's no one in the occult calls it the demonic realm. That's like an evangelical Christian term. No one calls it the demonic realm. Like it's crazy.
God said don't. When you do, there's repercussions. Not because God's just angry and mad, but it's for the safety of his kingdom, for the well being of a man. There's repercussions to disobeying God. The devil has obsessed over this. So you can imagine the man with legion of demons in him. What things did that man do to allow those demons to possess him in such a way? And Satan has wrapped this up into a ritual, a 5-point major defilement pentagram ritual. I call it pentagram because the way it's always been shown to me is the upside down star with the circle around it. I've been shown how each point of that represents 5 major folds of defilement. That circle to Satan.
Wait. According to what? Where does it, like the 5 sacred like hold on, let's pentagram points, 5 sacred points of defilement. Is that what he said? 5 sacred points? Yeah, like it there's like doesn't even Well, I guess this, yeah, here he is, right? So he's the only one saying this, right? So this is kind of like the Kabbalion, right? Where there's that one quote in the Kabbalion where it quotes itself, right? Like the Kabbalion is quoting itself. Like if like in the Kabbalion there's a quote, and then the source of that quote is the Kabbalion. That's the same thing here. Source, trust me, bro. I am the source. No one else is saying this. And it's just him. It's just him. But let him
Is
keep
an
going.
open door into a man, right? So all of humankind is constantly trying to go to the spiritual realm. It's all a distraction while Satan manifests through mankind into this reality. And that defilement ritual will open a man up. It's worship
This is all non sequiturs. None of this follows. Like it's like every sentence doesn't follow the last sentence. That this is in
of
sequel.
self, false god worship, sorcery, which I've been shown is anything from addictive foods, chemical compounds, physical addictions, and using pharmakia or foods or poisons to open someone up spiritually or control them.
Instead of listening to non-occultists, non-Christians on what sorcery is, how about you get it from actual occult practitioners, right? Actual sorcerers, right? Like Jason Miller, who actually has a book called, well, this is the updated title. The old title was called The Sorcerer's Secrets, but the updated title is Real Sorcery: Strategies for Powerful Magic by Jason Miller. Now, I got this at a secondhand bookstore, so I only paid $5.75. Yeah, $5.75 for this book. But on Amazon, it's probably between 15 and 20. And it's in pretty, like, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, there's that little thing down there at the bottom, this little whatever. But other than that, it's in pretty good condition. The pages aren't yellow or bent. There's no writing in it, so 575 is a steal. But anyway, uh, get your information from actual occultists. I don't understand why like that's like a controversial thing. Like you wouldn't come to my channel to learn about brain surgery. You wouldn't ask me about brain surgery. You wouldn't ask me about some international law thing because you know that I don't know those things. I don't practice, like I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a doctor. So why would you come and ask me those things? You wouldn't. Yet people like him think that you should come to him for stuff that he doesn't know about. That doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense. But let's see what he has to say.
That is what I've been taught by demons is sorcery. And then the next thing,
food, chemicals in food is not sorcery. What are you talking about? That has nothing to do with sorcery. Chemicals in your food.
would be exalting, using, and practicing magic. I have some really deep thoughts on this in Revelation, but if you can't accept that, just the way that we've been glorifying magic through, say, the Disney Channel alone is enough to understand it. When you study Crowley, okay, Crowley constantly was in this same pattern in his rituals, getting women addicted to drugs, right? Practicing magic.
Yeah, Crowley was a drug addict. What about any other of the contemporary occult? Like, why do conspiracy theorists only focus on Crowley? That's like if somebody like had issues with Christianity, they only focused on the priest that like touched kids, and that's it. I think the Christians would be like, why are you focused only on that? What about all the other priests that don't do that? You should give occultists the same grace. Yes, Crowley was a drug addict. There's many issues with Crowley. But why do you only focus on Crowley? Can you name another major influential figure in the occult that was also a drug addict? You can't, because Crowley is your only focus. Crowley is not and like Crowley's not the most influential, so you can't even use that. Like, oh well, we pick on Crowley because he was he wasn't. There are people that existed before Crowley, at the time of Crowley, after Crowley, and even now that have far more influence, or had if they're no longer here. Far more influence than Crowley could have ever dreamed of. I never hear anyone mention Agrippa. Yet there would be no Crowley if Agrippa didn't write the 3 books of occult philosophy. There would be no Crowley. Occultism wouldn't be anywhere what it is today if Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa did not write the 3 books of occult philosophy. Yet I never hear any conspiracy theorists talk about Agrippa, or if they do mention it, it's in passing. Crowley gets all the credit. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Magic with them, worshiping themselves, worshiping these false gods from Egypt. Right? It's all relies around this ritual. And the last thing is sex, lust, and trauma. So that's this 5-point major pentagram ritual I have been taught over and over and over exceeds all.
Yeah, saying you were taught that doesn't mean anything. Can you prove this? Like you were taught this from so you were taught it from the demons, meaning you didn't learn it from your satanic group or the books or anything like that. So there's no way for you to prove it now, right? That's going to be his out. I learned it directly from the demons. So then now I would say, well, what demon? What demon did you learn it from? He's not going to be able to name it. He'll forget the name, or he'll make up some name, or he'll pick one of the popular demons from pop culture. Right? He'll say Paimon or Beelzebub or Baal or Baal, or he'll say one of the popular well-known demons that's made it to Hollywood and video games and comic books and novels and fan fiction and stuff like that. That's what he'll say. Absolutely ridiculous. All right, I think this guy is done.
The boundaries of the legal right Satan needs to possess a man or a nation or a people. You have it. It's a
yeah. This video was all over the place. I don't even know where he was going with that. What's this? Oh, the top 3 most powerful female demons in mythology and occult traditions. All right, let's take a bit of a twist. And let's check this out. Let's see what this is. Top 3 most powerful female demons in mythology and occult traditions. It only got 9 likes, so I don't let's see. Lilith, of course. Oh, there's no voice or anything. No. All right, I don't want to watch this. Like, this isn't cool. I thought it was going to be like a voiceover and we could see someone This is ridiculous. That's why I only got 9 likes and no comments. People are like, I don't want to read. I'm watching a video. I don't want to read. So, like...
If you're an occult enthusiast, you've definitely heard the name Paimon. But did you know he's both a demon king and a beloved game sidekick? Let's untangle this wild story. In the world of the occult, Paimon is a big deal, literally a king of hell, ruling...
Well... I mean, yes, he's listed, but I have issues with that classification, but that's neither here nor there. I got my familiar from Paimon. My familiar, I got him from Paimon.
Over legions of demons. He pops up in the Ars Goetia, a famous grimoire full of summoning rituals and dark secrets. Unlike
a summoning ritual, not summoning rituals, there's one. There's a single solo summoning ritual.
Most demons, Paimon stands out for his wisdom. Think math, philosophy, even the secrets of nature. Want wealth, power, or knowledge? Paimon's your guy. But legend says you need to ask in a very specific way. He's also known as a loyal servant to Lucifer, and is often shown wearing a crown, riding a dromedary, with an oddly androgynous face. Some say Paimon's roots go back to the Middle East or even biblical figures. And in Genshin Impact, Paimon gets a major makeover as the traveler's chirpy companion. So next time you see Paimon, remember, there's a royal occult backstory behind that cute face. Like, share, and subscribe for more.
Interesting. This only got 9 likes too.
You can't just drop it like it's hot and be like, I'm just gonna chunk it up. It's a one night stand. It is what it is. You should already feel yourself to be a little more sacred than that. Your vagina, your penis should be just back.
All right, we can move along. What the hell is this?
Our word demon comes from it, but it's not. It is a use that was made after it was assumed that all these pagan deities were devils. Actually, the demon was not an evil spirit, but a friend, a guide, and a counselor. And wherever Socrates was in danger or difficulty, his spirit came to him. the daemon or guardian appeared. And he writes about it, discusses it, and tells of the examples of its presence. Our word demon comes from it, but is
I mean, that's somewhat. I mean, yeah, that's that's true for them, and that's mainly P Hall. That's what he looked like, huh? I figured a bigger. Oh wait, I think the guy that I'm thinking of is someone else. I think I know who I'm thinking of that I thought was Manly P Hall. Interesting. I didn't picture him looking like that.
In the shadows of our world, there are demons that should never be
all right,
summoned.
let's go back and see what else we got here. Angel and demon work. Oh, this is Denis Poisson, Foolish Fish. I recommend him a lot. Angels, demons, possessions.
I believe, and I'd love your answer on this.
So we've got Russell Brand and Wes Huff. Russell Brand and Wes Huff, who is a Protestant scholar of Christianity. And he's from Canada, I believe. He's a Canadian scholar of Protestantism.
Sufficient focus on the extraordinary supernatural mystical claims of Christianity. Of course, eternal life and the possibility for salvation and redemption. But then those supernatural claims are backed up with motifs and stories that somehow get lost when people use a 20th century post-psychiatric analytic to examine and even absorb the claims of Christianity. Angels, demons, possessions, exorcism. My mate Daniel, former Marine and vet, who says things like this: everything's a burning bush. This bold aspect of Christianity, this requirement for bold.
I thought this was gonna be something different, so never mind. All right, let's see. 8 books that can summon real demons. Don't read these. You guys know I made a video about this. Ooh, and this guy Isaiah Robin, we're gonna watch this one too. Actually, these all should be pretty interesting videos. So I don't want to lose this. It seems like every time I go into a video and bring it out, I mean, and then hit the back button, these refresh. So I'm gonna open them up in a new tab. That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna keep this and we're gonna open them up in a new tab. All right. So this is 8 books that's kind of scary. This is 8 books that can summon real demons. Let's see.
So, you want to summon a demon. Excellent. But don't even think about doing it unless you understand what's written in these 8 books. You see, most books about this kind of thing are useless, not worth a penny. But see, what's written in these books are going to help you tremendously. Because if you choose the wrong text with the wrong information, your path will be fucked up. So, we can start with this one. Everybody knows about the Goetia by Aleister Crowley. Now this one keeps the old ancient language, so if you want the history, this is the go-to. It's at least good for supplementary.
It's not the go-to. I would recommend the Goetia of Dr. Rudd over that one. I don't have a physical copy. I have a physical copy of that Goetia, the one you just saw. But the Goetia of Dr. Rudd, let me just do Dr. Rudd. There we go. This is going to be the version that you want. You're going to want to get this version. The Goetia of Dr. Rudd by Dr. Stephen Skinner and David Rankin, who is also a scholar, but I don't know if he's a doctor, like a PhD. Stephen Skinner's not a medical doctor. He's a academic doctor. This is the version you want. The Goetia of Dr. Rudd, the angels and demons of the Liber Malorum Spiritum Seu Goetia Lemagedon Clavicula Salamanus. This is what you want, with the study of the techniques of evocation in the context of the angel magic tradition of the 17th century. This is what you're going to want. The Goetia of Dr. Rudd. This is going to give you the correct, like, let's look at the table of contents really quick. This is going to give you the correct, the history, the origin. You're going to get the Lemagedon right here, which is the Goetia that you know. I mean, the lesser key of Solomon aspect is the Lemagedon. So which is what everyone knows it by, or most people who are in the occult. You get the evocation methods, you get the manuscripts that it comes from, and then you get the manuscripts, you get the tables of demons, and then you get the appendix, which is where the real academia happens, and then the bibliography and all that. So this is the version that I would recommend, not the traditional, not the Crowley Mathers Goetia. I obviously have it, but I've had that since I was 15. So I recommend
information. Next up, I would most certainly recommend Conjuring Spirits by Michael Osiris.
Um, I have heard of Osiris Snuffin. I've not. I don't have any physical books by him. I don't know if I have. Yeah, I don't. Okay, yeah, I don't. I've heard of him, but I've not read any of his stuff, so I can't recommend or even not recommend it. I don't know about this one.
Snuffin. Now, see, this text is great because it implements the mechanics of sorcery. It's going to tell you about the technical aspects of what you're actually doing in a ritual. It also deals with some of the angels and other spirits. Next up, I would say Summoning Spirits by Konstantinos. This one is amazing.
I don't recommend that. I mean, I guess if you're like 15, 16 years old and you're trying to summon spirits, it might be but if you're really trying to get into the act of spirit work, there are much, much, much better books out there than Summoning Spirits. No offense to Konstantinos, but yeah, no. I would recommend books like I would recommend The Book of Summoning by Ian Corrigan, which is this book right here. I recommend The Book of Summoning, A Grammary of Pagan Evocation. Right? That's a good one. I of course recommend, the grimoires, right? So, Goetia, the Virum, whatever. I recommend Consorting with Spirits by Jason Miller. We showed another book by him earlier. I've got a few books by Jason Miller. Consorting with Spirits. Let me hold it like this. Is a good one. This is not the best, but it's better than Constantinos, in my opinion. Obviously, everyone has their own opinion. Spirit Conjuring for Witches. And I mean, there's other books like the whole Conjure Codex series. All the Conjure Codexes, they go into spirit summoning from various methodologies and various backgrounds depending on the title. There's a lot. There's a lot. But I don't recommend Summoning Spirits by Konstantinos.
Because it does what this text does as far as giving you the mechanics, but it gives it to you in a more plain, clean, simple, modern language. Fantastic text. Now, as far as the entities themselves, Demonaltry Goetia is a popular one because it presents the Goetic spirits more as family, more as friends, not so much as things that you're trying to subjugate and conquer. Also, there's a lot of great.
So then, but I also, I mean, so I agree that you shouldn't subjugate and conquer the spirits, but I also don't think that you should do the complete opposite end and treat them like, friends and stuff like that. I think you should build a relationship, but that doesn't, like, someone that you're trying to become a friend with, you're not instantly going to be like, you're going to slowly work your way up to it. You're not just going to instantly trust them with your secrets and your life and all this other stuff. You got to get there, right? So spirits are the same way. You got to build up to that. But I mean, I'm not a fan of demonolatry anyway. I don't understand why someone would want to worship a demon, or even a spirit that is considered a demon. There are actual deities out there. I don't know why people would want to worship a demon. It's like saying that you're going to go worship an elemental or a genius Loki. It doesn't make any sense to me, but people will do as they will. But yeah.
Supplementary information as far as the type of planetary influence, the dates, and things of that nature. Next up, I would most certainly say Goetia of Shadows by.
I mean, this is not a dig at S. Connolly, but I wonder, did she include how she arrived at these things? Like, she's associated the demons with the planets and all that. Did she include her logic behind that, and not just saying just because this isn't part of Western occultism? So, but like just saying that, for an example, I don't know, Shax is mercurial. I'm just making that up. I don't know what Shax would be associated with. But let's just say that Shax is mercurial. Where is that coming from? How do you know Shax is mercurial? Other than, well, Shax told me. Is there any like textual, like from history, any, oh, there's this grimoire from the 12th century that, does the classifications or something along those lines? Or are we just going to go with what she says? And here's another one, Michael Ford. He's like like if it wasn't for Michael Ford, Luciferianism wouldn't have found any sort of footing in the modern occult world. He's like holding it up by like its bootstrap. Like he is the sole person that is like keeping Luciferianism alive in the occult writing sphere. It seems like, and I'm being facetious. I'm sure there are other writers and stuff like that within the Luciferian sphere, but Michael Ford is definitely the most popular.
Michael W. Ford, special runner-up, Luciferian Goetia. But Michael W. Ford comes at this from a position of power, a position of dominance, as opposed of submission. Now, Goetia Devils is probably the newer one that I got, and this one is great because it gives a lot of respect to the entities. The descriptions you'll find here are going to be a lot different from the typical texts. Definitely worth your time. And most certainly, finally, I know this is 7, not 8, The Demons of Magic. This is going to be the best text if you...
No, the Gallery of Magic is not what you... At least not for Spirit Contact. Their stuff is good for, like, super basic, like, if you were trying to teach your 5-year-old the concepts of magic, the Gallery of Magic is a good place to start for a child. If you're trying to teach a child magic. Now, I'm not saying this book in particular, but there are other books. Like, for example, I have one physical book from the Gallery of Magic. Success Magic, right? The Hidden Power of Enochian Rituals, right? This would be, something as an example to set up like, and actually this is one of the more in-depth and actually somewhat useful of their books. But Gallery of Magic, I don't recommend them for most adults. Children, young teens, if you're trying to show them how to do magic and stuff like that, sure. But adults, it's too infomercial. It's too, like it's too simple. It's too new agey. It's too hope and wish and dream and all, just close your eyes and with a little bit of magic, all your dreams will come true. It's too much of that. And that's not how real magic is. Real magic isn't a Disney Channel, type of a thing. And that's what this, like, I feel like that's what Gallery of Magic makes the occult seem like. So, all right.
You don't have all the time and all the money to do a ceremonial ritual. So it's going to skip a lot of the ceremony, but it most certainly does not skip the consequences. So only turn to this text if you don't have the time or the resources to do a ceremonial ritual.
Yeah, that's terrible advice because 99% of the people that are watching this or that are ever going to watch this video don't have the resources or the time to do a traditional Goetic or Virum or Black Dragon or whatever type of ritual, because we don't live in the medieval times where we could just go down to our local church and get the priest who we all know by his first name to bless some chalk or to bless a piece of coffin for dogwood or whatever, depending on the grimoire that you're using. Most people wouldn't be able to do stuff like that. So that's terrible advice because that advice applies to pretty much everyone who's going to watch this. So.
This will certainly get you there. And of course, number 8 would be Idris Shaw, The Secret Lore of Magic. This is for the occult nerds, not for dabblers. So these are the texts.
All right. This is, she seems like she might be a legit practitioner, but this is ridiculous. A lot of this is, I won't recommend a lot of this.
This year, I made big leaf maple syrup, and it tastes nothing like what you'd expect. Around January.
What? Oh, I'm going to go back. Okay, sorry. I was like, what? Okay. What time? Okay, we're at almost a half hour in. Okay, I don't want this to go too much longer, so we'll probably just do these videos right here, and then we'll call it here. So we probably won't go to TikTok. We'll just call it here. So let's see. This is Loab Demonic entity unleashed by AI.
But
Come on.
what's crazy is that in 2022, an artist named Super Composite, aka Steph Swanson, she used an AI image generator and stumbled upon this female entity named Loab. And Loab kept appearing in multiple pieces of art alongside apocalyptic imagery, which of course made people think Loab's demonic. Well, Loab kept showing up in all the art that the AI was generating. And some people believe that Loab is a demonic spirit that accessed our world through a digital AI portal and they can't get rid of her. But what's crazy is that in 2022, an artist named Super Composite, aka
I
Steph.
hate that they do videos like that now, where the ending so easily plays into the beginning, so you don't notice that it plays, so that way they get multiple plays. And then by the time you realize, oh, the video's playing again, it's already 10 seconds in and it counts as a play. So oh my God. Or like as a view. I don't know what to make of this video. So it's an AI image, like, and there's a demon in the, like, stop it, man. What how do I even react to this? What is this? That's what? All right, the demonic religion, or excuse me, the demonic Ifa religion of Jay-Z and Beyonce.
You got Terrence Howard, who said that he invites spirits in him to play out different characters. Taraji P. Henson said it too. Woody McClain, I just did a story on him. Dames and Idris said he was calling on the devil when he reached a roadblock in acting, for crying out loud. You know, and then when the movie was over, he couldn't get it out. He couldn't get it out. He called his mom. He had nightmares. You think that these spirits are going to leave once the movie's done?
Mm-hmm.
Fools. But, you know, people like Jay-Z and...
So can you explain why? Because this is what, like, doesn't make any sense in the conspiracy world, in the Christian conspiracy world. There's no logical follow through, right? So as easy as it is to call a demon, and demons are fallen angels, right? All I have to do is just call the demon, right? Just say, or watch bad movies and demons come. Why don't angels work the same way? Why can't I watch The Passion of the Christ and angels come and my life gets better simply by virtue of watching because that's how they make it seem. Oh, like, now I'm not saying he says this, but there are people like him who will say things, and I'm sure you've all seen these videos. I'm sure I've reacted to these videos where it'll be things like, don't watch scary movies because you're attracting those demons. So I watched 3 scary movies in a row. That must guarantee a demon's in there, right? So then why can't I watch 3 movies from Angel Studios, right? And that, which is a real studio that makes Christian-based movies. Why can't I watch 3 movies from Angel Studios and an angel comes and my life gets way better? But not only that, and I kind of went off on a small tangent there. The point I was trying to make was, if it's so, like, they make it seem like it's so simple to contact these entities. You just got to watch the movie, or you just got to just get on your knees, because, you know, I've seen, you know, these interviews with actors, and oh, I just get on my knees and I just pray, and, you know, boom, boom, now I'm hit with the spirit. It's so easy. There's no ritual, blah blah blah. Why is it not as easy to get rid of? Again, going back to the angel thing, I should just be able to call on an angel. I should just be able to go watch 1 or 2 Angel Studios movies, and any demon that's on me is now gone because the angels came in. So it's hard. It's hard or impossible to summon an angel, but it's super easy to summon a demon. Aren't demons fallen angels? So basically, they are angels. They're just not of heavenly status anymore. They're still angels. They're just no longer of a heavenly status. And if they're not angels anymore and they had a species change, you need to demonstrate how and why that is the case.
Beyonce and stuff like that, they come into a place where it's definitely witchcraft, right? Jay-Z said in his song Family Feud, I told my wife the spiritual stuff really works. And he also said in his song State of Empire that Jesus can't save you. Life starts when the church ends. So right there, those 2 lines, we understand that he's not talking about Christ when he's talking about the spiritual stuff.
Yeah. So sure, Jay-Z may be anti-Christian. That doesn't mean he's into witchcraft. And Ifa is not witchcraft. You've been taught to hate the religion that your people, that your ancestors come from. Isaiah. I'm not saying that you have to convert to any African religion or anything like that, but to label it as demonic witchcraft simply because they don't worship the God that you worship is ridiculous.
Beyonce herself, she has a whole Lemonade album. And if you watch different videos of it, she's in water. Then there's a part in the video where the door opens and water comes out. She's showing us that she's being born again into whatever she is, which we understand that she worshiped the deity Oshun, right? Which is a part of the Ifa religion, you know? And their god is Eludamari. Not only that, but they also have another deity named Ashu, which is the deity that connects them to the spiritual. Okay. We understand it says in the word of God that there's only one mediator from man and God, and that's Christ Jesus. But to them,
so what? That's what your book says. Her book says something different. My book says something different. Now what? You just stating that your book says this doesn't mean anything. All it means is that your book says that. Great. What makes it true?
It's Ashu that connects the man to God, the creator, which is Eludamari for them, right? She's a part of the Ifa religion. A lot of people in the music industry is a part of the Ifa religion. 21 Savage, you got Kehlani, you got Summer Walker, you got Beyonce.
So Kehlani is not in Ifa. Kehlani was, I think, Santeria. See, like this is the problem. These things might be derived from African religions, right? It might be a fusion of African stuff with, Mexican or Cuban or Brazilian or whatever, depending on where it comes from, Caribbean, Haitian, Dominican, whatever. But it has become its own distinct thing. So Kehlani is not involved in Ifa. If I'm remembering correctly, Kehlani was Santeria. If I'm remembering correctly, I could be wrong there, but I'm 100% sure it's not Ifa. And 21 Savage is not involved in any of this type of stuff. Like, I don't know where that's coming from. So he might have been around people who know it and know about it, but that doesn't mean that he's involved.
Beyonce.
I don't think I've ever heard of this. Is it something that like it's if you know kind of thing? I mean, it seems like almost like an industry kept secret, this religion.
It's like African ancestry type stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's very big within Hollywood though. As far as like African Americans are involved, it's coming out now.
It's not. You've named 2-3 people that may be involved. That doesn't mean that it's very popular right now. Like, this is another thing. Like, I hate when people say, oh, there's all these whatevers, and then they name 2 things. Well, all these implies, can you give me at least 8? Like, can you name more than just 2 things? Like, oh my God, you hate a certain, type of person because they do all these things and you name 2 or 3 things. It's like that. That's not all these things. You just hate a couple things that person or that group of people or like he's doing that. Oh, it's super popular right now. You named 3 people. And 2 of them aren't even involved in this specifically. So
because I'm talking about it a lot, and different people are starting to talk about it a lot. You got people who are, very dedicated. They do altars. They set up altars where they give different deities food.
Altars.
Food and fruit and say happy birthday to these deities. It's pretty big. I mean, different celebrities are starting to post more about it, but it's deception.
Yeah.
Why?
And it's in its highest degree. Why? Beyonce used to be a Christian.
Yeah.
But her drummer, Kimberly Thompson, filed a restraining order on her for extreme witchcraft. Her drummer of 5 years.
Yeah.
You got Terrence Howard who said that
you can get a restraining order on someone for anything. So stop it. And did it go through? Was it approved? All right, let's do these 2 more because we're at 38 minutes. We'll see if we can keep it under an hour. So we'll do these 2 and then we will call it for this video. I don't want to go too long. And I'm going to try to clip this. I'm going to start doing clips more. All right, let's see what we got here. So wait, first, what is this called? Demon possession is scarier than you probably think. Is probably what it says. Does it say it over here? Than you thought. Not think, thought.
Tells you that the first generation Nephilim would only live for 500 years, and that they were to kill each other off in a massive civil war.
Okay, so that's another thing that I wanna when it comes to stories like this, why do we take, like, I don't mind for the spiritual, like how you should live your life and all that. I don't mind that. But when it comes to like these myths and these lore and legends, why do we take, just because it's in this ancient book means that it's true? Right? Oh, well, Enoch tells us the Nephilim. That doesn't make it true. That's like me saying, oh, well, this ancient Greek book says that, Zeus did this. Does that mean that Zeus did that? No, it's a myth. It's a story. It's a legend. It's lore. Why do we instantly like take that as this is history? This actually happened.
That their parents had to watch. This 500-year civil war that Enoch writes about is what the Greeks later stylized what became known as the Clash of the Titans. When they were killed off in the civil war, their spirits went out and became wandering spirits. They lost their physicality. They're looking for bodies again. In this state, they were and are demonic entities. So
I don't know if I agree with that. I'm quite certain I'm familiar with my church history and stuff like that. And the Gnostics did not precede, Greek ancient myths and legend and lore and stuff like that. The Gnostics couldn't have popped up until the advent of Christianity. And so first century, like it is when they would have been able to pop up. There would have been no. Because Gnosticism is I mean, I don't know how to I don't know how to categorize it in relation to Christianity, but what's coming to me is like it's a pagan view of what Christianity should be, right? Gnostics would, that's probably like a good way to describe it. So they're based off of Christianity. Well, if Christianity isn't there, then there can't be any Gnostics in the way that we know it, right? We all know what the word Gnostic means, but I don't mean Gnostic in that way. I mean Gnostic in the belief system. The philosophy of Gnosticism requires Christianity. And so if there's no, so I don't agree with this guy. But we'll see what he has to say.
So what happened next? I believe they started this process of the genetic manipulation that we read about in Joshua.
Did someone fart? What was that? Hold on, we're gonna go back. Hold up. Somebody farted. Listen closely.
How did I not know this? Now I can't unsee it.
Enoch tells you that the first generation lost their physicality. They're looking for bodies again. In this became known as the Clash of the Titans. When they were killed off in the Civil War, their spirits went out and became wandering spirits. They lost their physicality. They're looking for bodies again. In this state, they were and are demonic entities. So what happened next? I believe they started this process of the genetic manipulation that we read about.
How did I not know this? Now I
Why does it keep doing
Enoch
that?
tells you that the first generation Nephilim killed off in the Civil War, their spirits went out and became wandering spirits.
Listen.
They lost their physicality. They're looking for bodies again. In this state, they were and are demonic entities. So what happened next? I believe they started this process of the genetic manipulation that we read about.
I don't know if it's this guy here. Someone keeps farting. I think it's this guy, this Indian guy. It went like somebody farted in this video. That's crazy. That is insane. Or maybe he didn't fart, and maybe it's this guy. Maybe the guy telling it he farted and try to cover it up.
In Joshua 4:18 and Jubilee 7:24, they started to create host bodies for their spirits to go into. And those animal-human chimera may have been similar in characteristics to their fathers. Enoch tells you that the first generation Nephilim.
Yeah, so demons are a product of this first generation of Nephilim. So demons did not exist until the Nephilim came and made it with men. That's a ridiculous notion. What? So there were no fallen angels? Then how were there Nephilim? But anyway. Did you know that Satanism and Lucifer? Okay, I don't want to watch this one. Let's do one more here. Joe Rogan talks about the devil, demons, occultists. What does it say? Unveiling the dark power. Working with demons is not for everyone. A lot of demons. All right, let's actually watch these two. I want to do these two. We're only at 44 minutes. We should be able to clear these two before 15 minutes is up. I want to keep it under an hour. I think this video might be talking about this video, but yeah, it is. So let's watch this one first, and then we'll watch.
Isn't it weird how when they have horror movies, whenever someone's like calling a demon, they always have to do it in an old language?
Meaning, like what?
It's always in Latin or something.
Oh, right. Okay.
They're always reading from some book they're not supposed to be reading from. What does it say? Vomitus von Vlamanacha, and they're like, and then the demons come. Like you have to say the magic old words that people don't understand.
Right.
There's probably some weird. You're a psychologist.
Yes.
You understand that shit.
That's interesting.
What's going on there?
Yeah, woof, you're putting me on the. Well,
It's always right. It's always like a dead language.
Well,
or an
I
old
think it's
language.
because of that. So because it's an extinct language, it's somehow
calling demons.
It's calling demons that exist in another world. I think it's as simple as that.
Isn't it weird how when they have horror movies?
This wasn't what I thought it was going to be. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. But in real life, it's not that way. Real grimoires, for the most part, are already translated, and you don't need to speak whatever language. And as I always say, there's this rumor, this feeling, this theory that you need to learn Latin or Hebrew or Greek to read and translate the grimoires that haven't been, because there's still quite a few that haven't been translated into English. But that's the problem. They haven't been translated into English. The problem is not that they haven't been translated. It's they haven't been translated into English. Most of the grimoires and the books on magic that have been found have been translated out of whatever ancient language or whatever it is that they were originally written in. The problem is it hasn't been into English. It's been into, for the most part, German and French. There's others, Portuguese, Spanish, things like that, but German and French are the most common that they've been translated into, and from there have not been translated out of, or at least into English. So if you're interested in learning what the classical grimoires say in their original language, it's probably better to learn French or German than it is Latin, Greek, or Hebrew or something like that, or like Coptic, Egyptian, or so yeah. All right. Not what I thought it was going to be, but that's fine. And let's see what Isaiah Saldivar is saying, and then we can call it here.
If Satan is real, or if demons.
Oh, this is not the same video. I mean, this might be the same guy or whatever, like the same guest, but I think this is a different part. All right. So what is this? Joe Rogan talks about the devil, demons, and it doesn't say.
Are real. If they
They are.
really are a real thing, and these occultists really can summon them. Do you know how terrifying that would be?
Dude, they are real. The Bible says in Ephesians 6, our battle is not flesh and blood, but against powers, principalities.
That doesn't matter. What matters is what's repeatable. And I don't mean like in this way, like he's repeating what the Bible says. I mean like, can you actually contact these spirits? And yes, you can. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can do it. That's what I mean by it's repeatable. You can do the work for yourself. You don't need to send me money and pay me money and all that. You can do the work yourself. It's not as, because the demons aren't physically present. I think that's also an issue. People have this notion that the spirits are physically present in the room with you, and they're not. They're not in the room with you. People can lose that negative thought right there. When you're working with spirits in an evocationary manner, 9 times out of 10, they are being summoned into a scrying device. Either that, or you're not looking to see them. You just want their presence and their like to feel their energy, to feel that subtle shift in the room. And you just want to petition them or whatever. But for those of you who want to see something, it's a scrying vessel that is utilized. But I don't think Joe Rogan knows anything about that. But it's not visible or it's not physical appearance, it's visible appearance. So within the scrying device.
Spirits, persons without bodies. We are fighting persons without bodies. Demons are absolutely real. When Jesus came, he was the first person to deal with demons and gave the disciples authority. And that's why in Luke 10, they came back and said, even the demons obey.
He was the first person to deal with demons. There was no one in the history before Jesus who, so a Melchizedek, who is a Christ-like figure in the Old Testament, there were no priests or anything back in the Old Testament that exorcised demons or anything like that. Come on.
Obey us in your name. And as Christians, we have authority over demons. I've seen thousands of people get demons cast out of them. I've been delivered before. It's a real thing. It's much more common than you think. Joe Rogan, let me know if you want me to get on.
Those evangelical Pentecostal deliverances are all nonsense. There's videos on YouTube all about former Pentecostal people who admitted to being paid, or it would be actors, who aren't named. It's not like, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. There's millions of people who are aspiring actors who will never get a real shot. And so there's an unlimited pool to pull from. And, you just hire some local actors from the local theater team or from the local, and how many of, people in your community actually go see plays or actually go, so you wouldn't recognize them. And even if you did, you would just think, oh, they're a Christian now, or they've been Christian this whole time. And they were paid to be part of the church show of deliverance. It's all over YouTube. I watched one a couple weeks ago about like Benny Hinn and his family and all that, how, they're all coming out now and saying, that it was nonsense and he's renounced the prosperity gospel and all this other stuff. Yeah, so.
On the podcast to tell you about this, but for real, these are absolutely real.
If Satan is real,
yeah, demons are real, but and we are contacting them through occult rituals, magic, things like that. I've showed several books earlier in the show on doing just that, so definitely real. But all right, I guess we're going to go ahead and call it there, guys. Very interesting videos. We can clearly see that people, for the most part, don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the occult. And working with spirits and demons and what these things are and how they operate and what possessions look like and all that other stuff. So yeah, this is this is par for the course here on the Mystical Rebel channel. But thank you guys for checking this out. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will catch you guys in the next one. As always, seek the mysteries. Peace.